So today's about Roman numerals. So the first question is, does anybody know anything about Roman numerals? Let's see if we can fill this in. There's going to be 5 rules. There's some other stuff. Anybody know anything?
Like, kind of like eye-looking things.
There's an eye-looking thing. That's true.
There's like a V.
There is a V. Does anybody know what those letters mean before we start naming a bunch of letters? Yeah, what numbers is which?
I'm just gonna guess it's like 1.
Who's 1?
I.
The I is 1. So one thing we're going to have to do is memorize some stuff. So I is 1. That's true.
I know. Should I go in order? Like
It doesn't matter. Whatever you know. We'll just dump it all out there and then I'll fill in the gaps.
2's 2 eyes. 3 would be 3 eyes.
Okay, well, let's hang on to that for a second. That's all true. We're gonna eventually count from like 1 to 12. But let's just we'll get there. Yeah, you're right.
Does the V equal 5?
The V we mentioned is a 5. That's true. Yep,
4's IB.
that's true. Yeah, we'll get that hit up there when we start counting.
The X10.
X is 10. That's true.
Is VI 6?
It is. Anybody know any other stuff? Yeah.
Wild guess. Is M 10?
M is not 10. No, what? Because we have a 10. 10 is
10.
X.
10. 1.
No, M won't be 20.
VX, is that 15?
No, we made that up.
VII is 7.
That's true. We know any other letter symbols or know any rules about how we like try to put this all together?
Is C 15?
No.
I'm guessing.
But there is a memory number for 50. There is a memory letter for 100, which is not surprising. There is a 500 letter, and there is a 1000 letter, which is also not a surprising letter.
Is Y one of those?
It is not. Y is not in here.
Can I try 11?
Not yet.
Alright.
Is Z 1?
No. 100 links to other things you know about hundreds in terms of the letters it is. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So like, 100 years is called a century, 100-legged insect,
Centipede.
centipede, metric system, centa. We've done stuff with fractions, decimals, and percent. So letter on 100 is C is 100. C's been 100 for a while. 1,000?
M?
M is 1,000. What M things do we have that have been 1,000-y all year? Millipedes have 1,000 legs. Milla, like millimeter, stuff like that. 1,000 years?
Millennium.
It's a millennium. So the other ones don't make a whole lot of sense. 50 is L, 500 is D, but you need to write that down or take a picture of that or do something with that. You need to know those letters. If you don't know the foundational letters, there's no way to piece this all together. But 1 and 5, 10 and 50, 100 and 500, 1,000, and that's like where it stopped. There's only letters that go up to 1,000. Putting these together, there's some rules about when we're putting them together what we do. So beyond the camera view, there's some over there that I stacked up a bunch of letters that will turn into numbers. Over here I have a bunch of numbers we're going to try to turn into letters. As we do this, there are just some rules, some facts, some things that we have to keep in mind of what we are and what we aren't allowed to do, what we are and what we aren't supposed to do. Does anybody remember anything about Roman numeral usage ever before?
Clock?
Well, that's a place you might see them, yeah. If we look for somewhere we might see Roman numerals, some clocks do have Roman numerals. Where else is somewhere you might see a Roman numeral?
Watch.
Maybe on a watch, sort of the same as a clock? Maybe, yeah.
Super Bowl.
Super Bowls, I was thinking that one, yeah. Super
yeah,
Bowls, they
like
have
that.
those Roman numerals on there. Sometimes buildings have them on there for like the year the building was built, like on the cornerstone. I'll do a Roman numeral number for that. Movies, they used to do that at the, if you'd wait till the end, all the movie credits, they put the year the movie was made. They used to always use Roman numerals for that, but now they just do like a regular number for that for whatever reason. Movie sequels, you know, Star Wars 12, you know, they might throw a Roman numeral on those. But they're around. But let's just count. We know I is 1. Alfie said 2 is a couple of the I's. 3 is a triple I.
IV.
We know 5 was V. So
IV.
here we're not going to go I. We are going to go IV. So that suggests maybe like 2 of the rules at play. Like what's going on?
V minus I.
Yeah, sometimes we subtract. So if something is set up in a certain way, then we want to subtract the symbols. Like, what were we doing here with these though? What were we doing with the values of the symbols? We were adding them. So sometimes we add. Sometimes we subtract. What makes us sometimes add, sometimes subtract? If I'm showing you letters, like, what makes you have to subtract some of the letters with the other letters in terms of what they're worth? Anybody know? Okay. So if the smaller is before the bigger, we're going to subtract. So I means 1, V means 5. If 1 is before 5, littler before bigger, we're going to subtract. 5 and 1, subtract, make 4. We said what 6 was, I think. You said that, didn't you? 6 was VI. So this has a 1 and a 5. This has a 1 and a 5. But the rule is, if the littler one is first, we're going to subtract. If the bigger one is first, we're going to add. Okay, so if you ever have a smaller value before a bigger value, we're going to subtract those symbols in that pair. But other than that, we're always going to look to try to add stuff up. There's also a limit that just came in there. You can't do how many in a row of the same symbol.
4.
Can't do 4. So 4 in a row is out. 3 in a row is the most you're allowed to do. So 1 is an I, 2 is 2 I's, 3 is 3 I's, but we're not allowed to do 4 I's. So to build 4, you have to find a way to subtract. You can't add up to get 4 if you're not allowed to do 4 in a row. So we have to subtract 1 from 5. 5 is just a V, 6 is VI, I think you gave us 7.
VII.
7 would be VII. You start with 5 and add on 6 and 7. 4, 8. It is. Start with 5 for V, and then you could add on 3 I's to get up to 8. But then for 9, you can't go V and then I. Why aren't we allowed to do that?
That's 4.
Not allowed to do 4 in a row with the same symbol. So what can you do? You're going to subtract 1 from 10. So subtracting 1 from 10, we'd go IX to get the 9. 10 would just be
X.
That's just 1 to memorize. Let me go 11. 11 would be
X1.
X and then an I. So again, when the littler comes before the bigger, we're gonna subtract, but when the bigger comes before the littler,
Add.
we're gonna add. 12 is
XII.
XII. Let's go 13. X, triple I. But then 14, we can't go X, I. Why?
That's 4.
Not allowed 4 in a row. So how can we build 14?
Is it IVX?
It is not.
XIV.
It is XIV. So here's what I would coach you to do is try to do a place value at a time. To do 14, first worry about doing the 10 part of 14. How do we do the 10 part of 14? X. to handle a 10, we're gonna do X. So it starts with a 1, so start by doing a 10 with an X. Then worry about doing the 4, the same way we did the 4 3 minutes ago. So 4 is gonna be IV. Anything that ends with 4 is gonna end with IV. That's just the way you're gonna build the 4. So if you go through this, you're gonna have to go place value at a time. Let me give you another rule or two while we're still in camera view of the rules. So another rule here is you're only allowed to subtract once. Like you can't build, let's say 3. You can't build 3 by subtracting 2 away from 5. Like you're not allowed to subtract 2 of stuff. You're only allowed to subtract 1 time. Another thing on the subtracting is symbols can only subtract. Let's change this a little bit. I'll leave it there. I'm going to change the rule above it. You're only allowed to subtract once. And only using the ones, by which I mean 1, 10, 100, 1,000. The symbols that have ones in them can subtract from other symbols. You can never subtract using the 5s. That's just not a thing. But the ones can subtract from the other people. But the symbols can also only subtract from symbols 1 to 2 positions away on the list that I built. So in other words, the 1 can subtract, but only from
The
the 5 or the 10. 5 can't subtract at all. 10 can subtract, but only from
50 and
50 or 100. 50
100. Oh, nothing.
can't subtract. 100
yeah.
can subtract, but only from
500.
500
1,000.
or 1,000. 500
Oh.
can't subtract. 1,000 can't subtract either, because we ran out of symbols. But the ones can be subtracted from their friends, but it has to be their next 1 or 2 neighbors in this list. If we list them from littlest to biggest. So when we go to build over there, we can't see it yet on the camera, but when we go to build 999, you can't subtract 1 from 1,000. That's not allowed. Okay. Why can't we subtract 1 from 1,000?
It's like weird.
The 1 can only subtract from 5 or 10. We can only subtract from symbols that are 2 away. So somewhere over there I have a 99. Can we subtract 1 from 100? No, it's too far away. We'll have to find a different way to build. Let me make sure I wrote down exactly what I wanted to write down over here. Yeah, that should work. That's more or less the wording of my rules. So if the littler one's before a bigger one, we look to subtract. Otherwise, we're looking to generally add more than we subtract. Not allowed 4 in a row of the same symbol. The ones are the only ones allowed to subtract. You can only subtract them once. And the symbols can only subtract from something that's 1 or 2 positions away. Question about this part before we get a quick stop on that and then move the camera down the line.
Won't this be a test?
Never.
Oh, well,
But you have to know, you have to have this in your brain to do the problems, which will be a
Yeah.
test in about a week.
yeah.
But I'm not gonna ever come in and be like, tell me the rules for Roman numerals, but
Yeah.
we just need to soak them in and be able to use them just like we're using them right now as far as 14. Question, anything else while we're still clicking? Why don't you hit the stop on that for me? All right. So let's keep on counting. So I skipped some numbers in the middle, but let's just go up to 19. Can anybody do 19? False start. X, yes. Anything that starts with a 1 is going to have to start with an X. We're going to have to build these a place value at a time. So anything that starts with 1 has 10 as that's place. We need an X to deal with the 10's place. Then we have to figure out a way to build the 9. It would be an IX. To build the 9, we built 9 a second ago, and it's off camera now, but the 9 would be IX. Anything that ends with 9 is going to have to end with IX. There's no other way to build that 9 in that place. So 21, build the 20, then build the 1. So build the 20 is XX. Anything that starts with 20 is going to start with XX. To build 20, you got to get a pair of X's, and then build the 1. Just enough. Question about that. So to build 23, you've got to build 20, then 3. It would be XX to do the 20, I to do the 3. I agree with all of that. Somebody with a hand, build me a 24. XX to build the 20. Anything that's 20 is going to start XX. And then it would be IV. Anything with 4 is going to go IV. So XX for the 20, IV for the 4. If you tried to argue for any other way to do that, you'd be breaking some kind of rules. Somebody else, 29, yes sir.
XX, IX.
It is XX for the 20, IX for the 9. Agree with all of that. Question about that one. Get somebody else, 33. Yeah.
Is it X, 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 I?
It is. Anything in the 30s will start off XXX to get us to the 30s. And then the 3 we've had before was I. Anything that ends with 3 has to end with I. 34? Yep. It is. XXX to do the 30, IV to do the 4. That's true. Again, anything in the 30s is going to start off with XXX to build that place. So 36, build 30, build 6. One of our quiet people jump in on that. We're left with any ladies who don't sit in the front row would work for me right now. Everybody else is taking a play. Build me that 36. Click on you, can you get it? No, not feeling it yet. Can you get it? Agree. 30 for 36, we'll build 30. Anything with 30 is going to go XXX. And then build the 6. We have the 6 from a previous list. That's going to go VI to get the 6 going. 39. Any of our young ladies who don't sit in the front row build us a 39. Not feeling it yet. Can you do it now yet? It is. XXX gets us going in the 30s. So anything in the 30s will start XXX. And then 9, we've had 9 before. Anything that ends with 9 is going to end with an IX. And then I'll let anybody try 40 that wants to try 40.
X with I.
Nah. You were headed down a road to like too many X's there. No, we're only going to ever use the 5 symbols once. Maybe I should have thrown that in as rule 6. But you never are going to add the 5 symbols together because you never need to add 5 and 5 because you have a symbol for 10. And you never need to go 50 plus 50 because you have a symbol for 100. So the 5 symbols, you're only ever going to get single usage out of the 5 symbol. It is XL. There's no way to add up to 40 because you're not allowed 4 10s in a row. But what you can do is subtract 10 from 50. Subtracting 10 from 50 is going to be the way you're going to get 40. Anything that starts with 40 is going to start with XL. XL is going to be our standard way to build 40 all the time. So for 44, build 40 and then build 4.
XLIV.
It is XL to do the 40, IV to do the 4. Question about that stuff. Okay, sometimes people here will try to argue and say they want to go IL and subtract 1 from 50, and that's not a bad thought. That uses like a lot of what we talked about today. But why would IL be a bad move?
can't subtract the 1 from the
You
100.
can't subtract stuff that's that far away. The 1 can only subtract 5 and 10. So I'll repeat my advice again. That's probably the best advice I gave you today. You have to build a place value at a time. So for 49, you need to go 40 and then go with 9. Go ahead and say, could you? It is XL to do the 40 part of that, IX to do the 9 part of that. Question there? Let me do a shorter one before I do this. Let me go and do 90. Can anybody get me 90?
Would it be secret with LC?
No, because if we go LC, we'd be trying to subtract 50 from 100. And we don't need to do that because we have a symbol for 50. Anybody have a way to build 90? Never mind. It is not, because you're not allowed to use the 5 symbols more than like once.
Is there a V in it?
There's no V in it, no.
XLIV, or not, or XLIX,
Um,
or not LC.
no, because XL, you've
Right.
committed to the 40s.
I didn't mean to,
Okay.
did it L, is it XC?
It is XC and then quit talking. So the only way you can get yourself a 90 and obey all these rules, we can subtract 10 from 100. Subtracting 10 from 100 gets you to 90, so XC is how you build 90. So then let's build 99. To build 99 is XC to do the 90 part, and then IX to do the 9 part. Question up to 99. We obviously don't have time to do every single number from 1 to 99, but I'm just trying to do any where they get like a little bit different. Like if we had to do 80. 80's not super complicated. How could you build your way up to 80? L to get you 50 of the 80, and then XXX builds you up to 80. What if we wanted to build 70? LXX. And then if I made it like 77, it would have the same start, and then these numbers get used all the time as our endings. I'm off camera, but the 1 to 9 that we had, those basically are going to give you the endings of all of these numbers. And you're going to use those a ton. 237 isn't crazy crowded. Okay, what you have to do though is don't worry about 237. Worry about 200, then worry about 30, then worry about 7. So the 200 part of that is CC. 100 and 100 gets you to 200. To do the 30. Stick with you, yeah. XXX gets us up to 30. And then worry about the 7. We just look to the list of endings that we're going to use to end all the time. Anything that ends in 7, VII. Question about that. 400 is a little bit trickier combination. We haven't done this yet today, but we've done other ones like it. You get 400?
CD.
Say again?
CD.
It is CD. We can't go C, 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 C. You can't do 4 C's in a row. And if you try to add up using other symbols, you're just going to always end up doing something weird. The only way you can get 400 is subtract 100 from 500. 100 subtracted from 500 would get you 400. Anything that starts with 400 would have to start with CD. So here I go with 449. So do 400, do 40, do 9. So somebody for 449? Yeah. CD does the 400, XL does the 40, IX does the 9. If you have enough of these done, you can start to also copy off your own paper. You know, this had a 49 was XLIX. So this that has a 49 better go XLIX. That hasn't changed in the last couple minutes since we did that one. This one, sometimes I've offered people before they started, I make silly offers, like if you can get this one right before we start the lesson, I'll give you $100. No one's ever gotten it right. But you could get it now that we've had the lesson. But when we started the lesson, we didn't even know what letters were which. So that offer has expired. But To do 999, everybody always wants to say it's IM, and then they want to argue with me that they're right, and it isn't IM because you're not allowed to subtract them when then they're that far away. So what we have to do is figure out how to do 900, then how to do 90, which we already did, and then how to do 9, which we already did. So the only really new thing about this is the 900 part. Can anybody tell me how to do anything that's in the 900s? It would be CM. Subtracting 100 from 1,000 is the only way you can build 900. So anything with 900s is a CM move. Then the 90 we did a little bit ago, XC. And the 9 we've been doing for a while now, that's an IX. Question about going from normal, like English kind of numbers to the Roman numerals. Anybody a question about how that went? Then we'll reverse it. Am I still in view there? Can you tell?
Yeah, I think.
Are we good enough? Or we'll
Yeah.
need a little bit of a turn?
Little.
Because I'll probably go as far as my
Yeah,
hand.
little turn.
Give it a little turn.
You're good.
We good enough? Okay. So if we go in reverse, the key thing to go in reverse is just a quick skim and find anywhere that a littler is before a bigger. So on this one, think of what they mean. Let's just yell. X means 10, 5, 1, 1. Did I ever do little then big? Was there ever a little one then a big one? No. So what do I have to do math-wise? Just add them up. So 1 and 5 and 10 all together is 17. Sometimes you just have to add. Something there. The key is knowing what letters what, too. So that's why I said make sure you take a picture or get that in your brain or write it down or something. But C's are hundreds, X's are tens, V is 5, that's a 1. Did I ever go little then big?
Nope.
No. So again, I just have to add. So 126. How about that? So hit it again. M is 1,000, D is 500, C 100, X 10, 10, V 5, I. Again, did I go out of order? No, I'm taking it easy on you to get some momentum build up. Add your way down the line. 1,000, 26,
Oh, 6.
626, because the 500, 100. I was kind of doing them zigzags. If I went side by side, it's getting crowded, I thought. Something there. This is going to go finally out of order. 100, 1,000, 10, 50, 5, 1. So who's out of order?
The
100 and 1,000, we're going to subtract that pair. 900. Any more? 10 and 50, subtract that pair. 40. Now are we good? Yeah. Now it's big, littler, littler, littler. They get littler as we go. Add them all up. 946. Anybody here see anything that's out of order?
The
1 and the 5 should make 4. Is there anybody else out of order?
L and X.
No.
No, that's okay, because L is 50, X is 10, C is 100, M is 1,000. So the only out of order was that IB to get us that 4. So
1,164.
11, who for?
1,164.
64, yeah, I agree. I wasn't sure if you said 50 or 60. You're far away and you're wearing a mask and we got things running over here, so it's hard to hear that. Anybody here spot anything out of order?
The C and the M.
C and M, yeah. 100 subtracted from 1,000 is 900. Anybody else out of order?
I and X.
I and X is out of order. 1 from 10.
X and C.
9.
That'll make 9.
Oh.
X from C, 10 from 100 makes
90.
90. The M is 1,000, so
1,999.
1999. It's a Prince song. Party like it's 1999. Anything here out of order?
Excellent.
X and C. This one or that one? The first pair or the second pair?
Second pair.
Second pair. So XC, second pair
90.
is 90.
VI.
VI out of order or okay? That's okay, because that's 5 then 1, that's okay. These are both thousands, this is 100, so it's going big, down, 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 down to the littlest, just to add up what you got.
2,196.
It is 2,196, agreed. Question there. Let's do one more. We have an easy year this year. 2025 is not too hard to do. So for 2025, do the 2000, MM, then do the 20, XX, do the 5, V. So you got a pretty easy year that we're on right now on our calendar, because nothing needed to be subtracted. But that's our rules, that's our stuff, that's our game. Question anything about Roman numerals? Okay, the homework, I always wonder if they did this on purpose every year I assign this. There's no letters, it's just a set in the back, and it's set XX. In other words, if we wanted to use our Roman numerals, I guess maybe it's set number 20. Yeah, whether they did that, I always wonder that. Did they do that on purpose, that they do the set to be like using Roman numerals? No. There's no way to know for sure other than writing these people a letter, and that seems like a lot of work. But we're just in the back, we're just set XX, and that's the name of the game, Roman numerals. Question it all before we hit the stop.